Hey, I'm Linus. I'm the creator of the Slow Boat Sailing YouTube channel. We're going to talk about the phenomenon of CRACKERdocking. So, overnight stays at Cracker Barrel restaurants. So, boondocking is to RVing what anchoring is to sailing. And so, with boondocking, you'd like to stay someplace for free. Preferably a remote location on Bureau of Land Management land. But there's not a lot of that in a lot of parts of the U.S., such as the East Coast or the South. But one option is to stay at select Walmarts. But Walmarts are pretty busy places, to be honest. And I personally, in most cases, would not want to stay overnight at a Walmart if I could avoid it, even though I do shop at Walmart while RVing. But Cracker Barrel is a pretty good option, I think, even better than wall docking. CRACKERdocking is pretty cool. So you should buy a meal, either breakfast or dinner there, and then you get to stay overnight. If you get there early enough, they normally have this one has about 5 spots behind me. I got here at like 4:30. I was the first one, so I got the primo spot. But you know, they usually don't fill up, and so it's kind of an under. Now, if you get there at 10 o'clock, you might not. But if you get there at a reasonable hour before they close, you've got a really good chance of being able to CRACKERdock. You know, I think it's a nice thing in terms of the etiquette. You probably are not going to put out lawn chairs while CRACKERdocking. You're probably not going to have any room to do that, so you probably shouldn't do that. You should not run your generator while CRACKERdocking. I personally would avoid unhitching if you have a trailer. If you have a travel trailer setup or a fifth wheel, I wouldn't unhitch. I would stay hitched. But I do put down my stabilizers, you know, because that's not good for your RV. So you could always pull up your stabilizers if you need to. I mean, I think the other thing to think about versus an RV park or a state park or a park in general, or even boondocking, you know, you don't want to have public consumption of alcohol. Unless you know the local ordinances pretty well, which you probably don't. A lot of localities will, you know, not allow you to have open containers of alcohol consumption. And I suspect most Cracker Barrels would frown on that too. So there are some things that you cannot do while CRACKERdocking that you could do while boondocking or staying at an RV park. You know, I think it's kind of a similar experience, a little kind of less, little more anonymous than a Harvest Host. So I'm a Harvest Host member, where you normally go to a winery or a brewery or a museum, and then you visit those places, and you're expected to buy a bottle of wine or some beer or something like that. And it's going to come out probably about the same per person. I don't know. I mean, if you're in a big group, you might save money on the winery and you lose money on the CRACKERdocking. So I like to CRACKERdock when I'm on the road and the weather is nice, right? Today is a nice day. It's an unseasonably cool day here in the South. I'm in Texarkana, Texas. So I was in Arkansas, but I'm in Texas now. And so, you know, it's a nice experience, I think. So subscribe for. Oh, and I'd say another thing is, you know, how do you find these things? You can either use Google Maps, but the best thing is just to download the Cracker Barrel app and then type in where you want to go, where you think you're going to be going, or you can look at their map and see what the Cracker Barrels are there. I think a lot of people will use it as a backup option if they don't find anything they like even better. But I think it's a great option especially if you're traveling through a part of the country. There's not a lot of really interesting parks to visit and campsites to visit, and you just want to make time. You know, you save a little money. Want to get a nice dinner or a nice breakfast. One other thing is that you want to make sure you get the designated spaces. The Cracker Barrels typically have designated spaces. They say RV bus on them, and those are the ones you want to park in. Don't park in the front. They're typically in the back. You don't want to like double park like sometimes you may do at like a Walmart or something like that. They actually have these RV pull-through spaces that are designated at the Cracker Barrels. It's also good etiquette to call ahead for the Cracker Barrel, if nothing else, to make sure that Google Maps is accurate and the place is still in business, right? And just ask them if it's okay. And if you're running late at night, they might say, oh, it's already full. So that's another reason why calling ahead would be a good idea. Subscribe to the Slowboat Sailing channel. We give you the secrets of RV life, and we give you the stories of most interesting sailors in the world.